Shabbat Shalom, family. Glory and honor to Father Yah, who is the I exist, and to his grace, Messiah, who is our righteousness, Yahweh Shai, and his Father, Yahweh. Glory and honor to their name, as very shortly we will be with them in the kingdom, established on this planet that was created by the I exist. Praise the Most High. Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya. Greetings to the 12 tribes of Ahaya, otherwise known as Yahweh, according to this book, scattered into the four corners of the earth through slavery because of disobedience, who are now awakening and returning to their Father Yah. Greetings. And to the 144,000 among you who are the forerunners of the kingdom of Messiah, soon to be established on the planet. Greetings. And to those of the children of Yafet and of the children of Ham, who have been grafted into the perfect righteousness of Father Yah through Messiah, Yahweh Shai, his grace. Greetings. Greetings to the chat, brother Joe Curry, my brother. Black Above Reality, my brother. Imana Prakash, Gary Joseph, Yah Free, Stephen Kelly, Yakoba Bond, Israel, Diamond Holding, Superstar, my brothers. Greetings. And everyone else, Akawamba and Yah, Daniels, Isha, Shalom, Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Greetings. As we are continuing our study in the prophetic, beautiful, historical book of Deuteronomy, written for the Hebrews, to the Hebrews, by the Hebrew Moses, from Father Yah. And we are in chapter 31, and we're going to continue. Today, we're going to talk about a study, I should say. And please study this book. Study it, brothers and sisters. It's here for us. It's here. And as the Gentiles hide things in plain sight, Father gives us the truth in plain sight, but most people will not. It's right here for all of us to see. And so please start. And now we're getting ready to go to a new year. I'm right now in the book of Revelation. I think I'm in chapter 7 right now. And so we're going to be finishing my 20th reading by the grace, and I mean that, by the grace of Father Yah. We'll be finishing the 20th reading of this book this weekend. And brethren and sisters, every time I read it, every time I get deeper and deeper revelations of our Father and of his grace and of his love for us, of his perfect righteousness and of his plans for us. Read this book. There are some of you that are going to read the book 2-3 times before the return of the Messiah. And you're going to know just as much as I do, having read it 20 plus times, because the time is now, brethren. And the Father is speeding things up, as it were. And he is preparing his people, as it were, for the return. Right now, as we studied the word, the only thing Father is focused on right now is the preparation of his people. There's no other sign we need to worry about. Although signs are all around us showing us that. See, when you see signs happening around you, nature, signs in nature, signs in business, signs in politics, when you see signs happening all around you, the proliferation of the alphabet soup, and you know what I'm talking about, the proliferation of corruption in the banking system, you can see that for yourself, the intensity of the natural disasters you're seeing, the increase of perversions of little boys and teenagers and little girls being trafficked and sexed up and raped, proliferating. These are all signs that's telling us Father Yah is close to finishing ours, or the work in us. He's close to finishing the work in us. Matter of fact, let's take a look real quick in Ezekiel chapter 36. Ezekiel chapter 36. Again, our history, as Deuteronomy is showing us, our history. But also, I want to show you something very important here for us of what we're talking about today, and what I'm talking about right here in terms of Father finishing the work in the 144,000 and finishing the work in his people that he's calling out of Babylon through the 144,000. Let's take a look at Ezekiel chapter 36, beginning at verse 18 and going down to verse 23. Ezekiel chapter 36 from verse 18 down to verse 23. That is Ezekiel 36, 18 to 23. I know there's a delay. I want to make sure you're able to catch up, keep up, whatever. So Ezekiel chapter 36, beginning at verse 18. Wherefore I poured out my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land, and for their idols wherewith they had polluted it. And I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries, according to their ways, according to their doings, I judged them. Talking about our fathers. And when they entered unto the heathen, whither they went, they profaned my holy name. When they said to them, these are the people of Yahweh, and are going forth out of his land. But I had pity for my holy name, which the house of Israel had profaned among the heathen, whither they went. Therefore, say unto the house of Israel, thus saith the Most High Yahweh, I do not this for your sakes, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which ye have profaned among the heathen, whither ye went. And I will sanctify my great name, which was profaned among the heathen, which ye have profaned in the midst of them. And the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, saith the Most High Yahweh, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes. See that? He's going to sanctify himself in us. We are the sign. See, the sign is not in the UN. The sign is not at the White House. The sign is not in nature, though you see signs in all of these places. The sign, he says, is in us. He says he's going to be sanctified in us before the eyes of the heathen so that they can see. They can see what? They can see we're his chosen ones. They can see we have been awakened. They can see a spirit on us and know something's different. And yes, they're going to be quite concerned about that. But that's what's going on right now. The Father is raising up his people. He's awakening his people. And you know what? Look, it's not the majority. It's not on television. It's not, something that you have a TV show or a movie about, although people have tried to do that. It's more powerful and it's deeper than that. And that's why you won't see it on TV, because brethren and sisters, this is more than an awakening in terms of knowledge, although it's including obviously an awakening in terms of knowledge. What this is a return of a people to their God and the glory of the Father being seen in them by his Spirit. That's the more important thing. That's not going to be seen on TV. See, you could get all of these books and they could give you all of this stuff. And like there's a movie out there. Remember all that? And there's a movie. And yes, they go through all the history of why we are, who we are, what we say we are. But that don't matter, brethren. What all matters is this here. Okay, that's all gonna matter. And the change that goes on in us. The other day, my brother, I was telling you from Germany, was here. And I told you he had 3 children, and each of them in different areas of the country and going through all kind of stuff, right? A lot of it, stuff that we know. We profane the Father's name in the land of our enemies, right? Just like we just read. So his son, who I last saw, I remember telling you about a story of an angel giving me $10. Y'all remember that? An angel gave me $10 and knew me, met me in the hallway of my building and knew my name, knew my family. And I was shocked, and he gave me $10 because I had to pay some. Remember that? And remember I told you I called my friend and he sent his son over with the $10, that was this man that came here. I called him. That was probably 30, I would say probably 37 years ago, something like that. 36, 37 years ago. It was the man that was here from Germany. He relocated over there. And it was him I called. And he sent his son. That was the boy that I met him this week. I hadn't seen him since that day when he was 12. That's the last time I saw him. That day. Okay. He had come over on his skateboard with the $10. It was him. And so I hadn't seen him. He's now a 47-year-old man. Struggling. Hebrew, struggling, as we know. Y'all know all about it, right? I ain't got to explain it to y'all. One of the struggles is he has 2 children by 2 mamas, 2 baby mamas, and neither of them want him to see his children, especially his younger one, little girl. Now, y'all know, I ain't got to explain to y'all how that situation works. So the mom don't want him seeing his little girl just turned 12. You know how it is. And not always her fault either. And you know how that is as well. I ain't got to explain everything to y'all Hebrews. You know how that works. Not always her fault that she don't want him to see her. Okay? So he came over. In fact, this is how it went. I'm going to tell you exactly how it went real quick. It was Friday night. It was not yesterday Friday, a week ago Friday night. His daddy, my man that came from Germany with his German wife, he liked to play the guitar. So it was Friday night, and him and his wife wanted to play the guitar for us. Okay, cool. So we listening to them playing the guitar, and we sitting on my couch in my living room while he's playing the guitar. Okay. The spirit came on me very heavy Friday night. This was before the Bible study Friday night. This was before yesterday. What's today? Today's 18th. Yesterday, it was the 10th of March. And the spirit came on me heavy while he was playing. And the spirit said, ask about his son. Ask him about his son. It kept bugging me. I didn't want to do it. Finally, after he stopped playing the song, I said, hey, what's Sean doing? And he said, man, I don't know. I said, I talked to him today. He said, I said, can we see him? He said, you want to see Sean? I said, yeah, I want to see him. Sean lives in Orlando. And it just hit me. I said, yeah, I want to see him. So he said, okay. And he called him. I said, call him right now. He called him right there. He said, can you come tomorrow? He said, no, I can come this week. Okay, come next week. So he came. This was actually 2 weeks ago. This was March the 3rd. He came last Sabbath. So last Sabbath, he went and got up early, picked him up, and he was hesitant. He said, you sure? I said, I want Sean to come here. So Sean came last Sabbath. And when I saw him, like I said, it had been 35 years since I saw him. And I hugged him. And I said, you don't remember when the angel gave me the $10? He didn't know what happened that day. All he knew is he came around the corner on his skateboard. And I told him, don't worry, it's okay. That's the last time I saw him. So he and I, the Spirit of the Father was working between us. And my man, his father was watching. He couldn't say nothing. He was watching. And then the next day he came, he said, you know what? And this is not a man that sheds tears. He said, you know what? The only time I seen him shed tears when his mother died. He's not, some brothers don't shed tears. I do, but some brothers just don't, right? They're just not into that. And he's one of them. And he said, you know what? I was almost in tears watching you talk to my son yesterday. So we prayed before he left. I put my hands on him and prayed. And then he left, right? So then my man went to see him again because when we were praying for him, suddenly the mother of his daughter said, yes, you can come see your daughter. And this is what he did. He had $70 to his name. His father had to come pick him up because his license is suspended. So his father went and picked him up and was bringing him out there to Clearwater to see his daughter on her birthday. My man went to the bank, took 60 of the 70 out because all he had was 70 and gave it to her. And my man, his father said, I'd never seen him do anything like that. He said, he has changed. You see, brethren, people are being called. See this? You profane his name among the heathen. And he said, I'm going to be sanctified in you before their eyes. Even his father said, I couldn't believe what he did. He said he stopped by the bank. He only had $70. I thought he was going to ask me for money. But instead, he took out $60 and he gave it to his daughter. And his daughter said to him, Daddy, I want to keep seeing you. And he said, I'm going to keep seeing you. This is the reason I couldn't, I was asking people who wanted to come to the Knicks game. I had an extra ticket. Mana Prakash was going to come and Mana couldn't come, right? And I said, well, who going to come get the ticket? Remember Mana? And he said, and Mana Prakash said, I'll pay you back for the ticket. I said, don't worry about it. I gave it to Sean. He's coming to the Knicks game next week. Pray for that. He's coming with me to the game because he said, you a Knicks fan? He said, I want to see the Knicks. I wish I could see. I said, you can. I got a ticket for you. He said, what? And then I told him where we were sitting. He was tripping. He said, what? I said, yeah, man, you come with me to the Knicks game. So that is all that happened. And that's what I'm saying. The Father is doing work in people right now, especially his men. Especially his men. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Especially his men. He's preparing us right now. Yep, I could see, the thing is what people don't know, when you buy a ticket on Ticketmaster, as you could sell the ticket. I could sell the ticket to anybody I wanted to. I could have got back my money from Ticketmaster just selling the ticket. It's a good ticket. It's like in the 100 section. Mana Prakash and my man know, Ruel, they know it's in a good spot. Yep, that's the nephew. It's in a good spot. And I said, I'm not going to sell it on Ticketmaster. I wanted somebody that I knew from the channel to buy the ticket. And nobody came forward. And I didn't understand. And I realized, I said, the Father's doing something. There's somebody for this ticket. Then I realized who it was. No, Iman, you don't understand. It was all of the Father's will. It wasn't, you didn't put me in no position. You was used to set up this ticket for this brother. This is not accidental. Y'all understand, nothing happens by coincidence. There is no such thing as coincidence in the Father's kingdom. There's no such thing. Nothing just so happens. You understand? Everything is ordained from way before we were born, way before the earth was made. No, Imani, you didn't do nothing but get used by the Father to get this brother the ticket. That's what you did. That's what you did. That's all. But you see, he's working in people's minds and hearts right now. He's answering our prayers right now. He's working on all of this right now because there's not much time left. And we know it, just like Noah knew it. Noah preached for 120 years, and he knew the time was wrapping up, and his family knew the time was wrapping up, but the heathen outside that wasn't paying no attention, didn't care. Noah's father Lamech knew the time was wrapping up. His grandfather Methuselah knew the time was wrapping up, but nobody was paying attention. Brethren, we are seeing this right now on a bigger scale. There was only 12 apostles. There's only 12 apostles. See, people that calling themselves apostles need to stop. You know what the Bible says? Look at this. Revelation chapter 21. Revelation chapter 21. See, that's why I say you got to read the word, brethren. Revelation chapter 21. Let's read chapter 21 down to from verse 12 from verse 12 to verse 14. Revelation chapter 21 from verse 12 to verse 14. Revelation 21 from 12 to 14. Notice what it says. And had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates, and at the gates 12 angels, and names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. On the east 3 gates, and on the north 3 gates, and on the south 3 gates, and on the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the name of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So wait, You got 12 brothers whose names are in the foundation of the holy city. So let me ask you again, how many apostles are there? How many apostles are there? They 13? Are they 100 apostles? How many apostles are there? There's 12. See, that's why I won't never call myself an apostle, because there's only 12 of those. Don't ever call yourself an apostle. You're blaspheming. You understand? Don't call you. People that do that are ignorant. Don't do that. There's but 12. That's it. See, okay, it's because I'm listening to this here. Now, if you're not listening to this, you could name yourself anything you want to. But if you're listening to this here, it says 12. Not 13, not 11, 12. Okay? And the reason they are called apostles, they have a thing in common. Each of them met in the flesh with Messiah, face to face, and he said to them, I'm sending you. Face to face, brethren. Each of them, face to face. That's what they have in common. It wasn't like even the Spirit just called them. He walked in front of them and said, follow me. Face to face. You understand? That's what they have in common. That's why they are the only apostles. You understand? The only ones. And they're in the city. And he told them, remember what he said? He said, you that follow me in the regeneration of the Son of Man, he said, you shall sit on what? 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. That's what he told. That's what he told. Ain't but 12 of them. Okay. So we're not apostles, but we are different. We are being called as the 144,000. Okay. Literal number. Just like the 12 apostles, literal number. We are being called as the 144,000 to give a call to Babylon, to call Yah's people out of Babylon. It was Paul. Remember, he met Paul on the road to Damascus. Remember the Akawan Banya? Paul's on his road to Damascus, and he runs into somebody. Remember that? He ran into somebody, and he said, Saul, or Shaul, why do you persecute me? And Shaul said, what would you have me do, master? He said, go to the street called Straight, and it's going to be told you what you got to do. They had that understanding that day. That's right. There were many disciples, hundreds of disciples, but only 12 apostles. Okay. Hundreds of disciples now. Hundreds, but only 12 apostles. Okay. And that's again what we're dealing with right now. There's going to be a lot of people coming to this truth, but only 144,000 men called by the Most High to bring them to this truth. Okay. And we will bear witness, and the witness will being born by the Spirit of the Father. Just like Messiah, when Messiah came, the Spirit of the Father bore witness as to who he was. Not only that, the works. He said, if you don't believe me for the works' sake. He raising the dead. He casting out devils. He healing people that was paralyzed. And they still didn't believe. Because they didn't believe Moses and the prophets. They had a man-made religion called the Jews' religion. They had a man-made religion. Brethren, get away from man-made religion. Every denomination is man-made. I mean, think about this, brother. Think about this. How did Jacob's name get changed to Israel? How did that happen? Was Jacob deciding, you know what, I'm gonna call, like me, my name is Todd. That's my government name. But then the Spirit, I prayed, and the Spirit said, okay, Gabar Sadak. Okay, but how did Jacob's name get changed? He wrestled with the Father's Messiah. And Messiah said, your name is no longer Jacob. Your name is Israel. So that wasn't a name man gave him. That was from the Heavenly Father. How did Isaac get his name? Father came and sent his Messiah to go visit Abraham and told Abraham, you're going to have a son next year. And Abraham laughed, and his wife Sarah laughed, because they was 99 and 89. And Messiah said, you laugh. Your son is going to be to laugh. Yisha'ak. Messiah gave him that name. Abraham's father said, your name is Abraham. But the father said, your name is no longer Abraham. Abraham, your name is Abraham. So Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob got their names from the father. Well, let me ask you a question. Who gave the Baptist church their name? Who gave the Seventh-day Adventist church their name? Who gave the Mormons their name? Who gave the Pentecostals their name? Who did that? Then you know what? You can forget it. They can forget it. They can all forget it. They got no shot. That's not from the Father. They can forget it. Okay? Is there a Judaism in the Bible? Is there a Judaism? You know, the closest thing I see to Judaism in the Bible is when it says, I'm going to cause them that say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. I'm going to cause them to come and worship before your feet and to know that I sent you. That's the closest thing you get to a Judaism. And as far as Islam, there's no Islam in the Bible. There's no Islam in there. He said there's an angel that comes out of the bottomless pit called Abaddon the Destroyer. That's the closest thing you get to Judaism. To Islam. See? There is no man-made. Brothers and sisters, get away from man-made religion, man. Father Yah called Israel. And I mean, he literally called Israel. He literally called Israel. Ain't nobody named themselves Israel. Father said, you are Israel. Okay, so we're under a name that we didn't make up. A name given to us by the Creator himself, who has called us before the earth was made, as you're going to see when we study Deuteronomy 32. Okay, so yeah. Now, with that in mind, let's look at first Colossians. We're going to get I'm going to call them two references from Paul because I believe Paul wrote Hebrew, but there's no proof of that. So let's put it this way. I'm going to get a witness from Paul and the Colossians and the writer of the Hebrews. Okay. We're going to get two witnesses for that. Okay. So let's take a look at first Colossians. Colossians chapter 2. Colossians chapter 2. Okay. Now, the apostle is here writing to people at Colossae. Colossae was a group of Gentiles converted to the faith of Messiah. Okay. And that's exactly what it was. They wasn't forming no Christian church and believing in Jesus. They were following the Hebrew Messiah of the tribe of Judah, and they knew that. Okay. And they were getting that message from this apostle from the tribe of Benjamin. That's where they were getting this message. So he's writing at the people at Colossae. Okay. Now let's begin at verse 1. Colossians chapter 2, beginning at verse 1. For I would that ye knew what great conflict I have for you, and for them at Laodicea, and as for as many as have not seen my face in the flesh, that their hearts might be comforted, being knit together in love, unto all the riches and full assurance of understanding, to the acknowledgement of the mystery of Yahweh and of the Father and of Messiah, in whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. I got one more thing to tell you. Let me tell you this. You know, Colossae, all the seven churches representing in the book of Revelation in the second and third chapter, you know, the seven churches starting with Ephesus and ended up at Laodicea. All seven of those churches are physically located in the country of Turkey right now, right? That's the country of Turkey right now. Did you hear that? So all seven of those physical cities are what's now Turkey right now. Okay, the nation of Turkey. Then it wasn't called Turkey at that time. It was called Asia at that time. Okay, y'all understand what I'm saying? So the nation that's now the nation of Turkey was once called Asia in Bible times. It was called Asia. They called it Asia. In fact, more technically, it's called Asia Minor. Okay, so it was Asia. So what am I saying? What am I talking about? Well, what I'm saying is Yah's people were scattered in the land of Japhet. You're catching? See, Yah's people, he's writing at that time in the first century that were scattered in the land of Japhet, which is in itself prophetic because here we are scattered in the land of Japhet. You understand? So they were scattered in the land of Japhet at that time. Okay. Now, later on, there was the Ottoman Empire took over the Byzantine Empire and it became Turkey. Okay. It was the Byzantine Empire later on. And then it became when Constantine had it, and then it was taken over by Ottomans under the religion of Islam, and it became Turkey. And those 7 churches were scattered in that land. So here, the Most High is writing his gospel to his people scattered among the children of Japhet. You know what? You can't see that unless you know who you are. You understand, brethren? He's writing prophetic utterance to his people scattered in Japhet. And he's still doing that. He's still doing. Our fathers ran, tried to get away, run to the comforts of Mizraim and Ham, because that's what we were used to doing. That's what Abraham did. That's what Isaac did. That's what Jacob did. Run to the comforts of Ham, and the father said, "Oh no, you don't. I'm scattering you among Japhet." Because that's what he showed us in the word. Tribe of Dan? Yes, go ahead, brother Iman Bakash is asking about Dan. I understand. You understand? So he wrote, here's Paul writing to the chosen ones, taking the truth from the land that's, we know now is Japhet, Asia Minor. Yeah, exactly, Cherokee. Yeah, that's right. Old school gentrification. Yeah, Dan, let me explain Dan to y'all real quick. It's not hard. So when you read about, and I'm going to give you the scriptures. When you go into, I'm going to show you here. When you go into, I'm going to give you the scriptures. Hold on. When you go into First Kings, right? I'm going to give you the scriptures to read. You ready? Let's take it one step at a time, because this is a little bit off key, but a little bit on key. So stay with me now, okay? I know you got questions. Stay with me. You ready? We're going to just use the Bible here. You got me? Everybody with me so far? Just make sure you're with me. I want to make sure I don't lose y'all. Okay, Amanda Bakash, you asked the question. You ready? Okay. So first thing you do is read 1 Kings chapter 11. That is the end of Solomon's reign. That's the first thing you do. Then you read 1 Kings chapter 11, and you will see within 1 Kings chapter 11 the downfall of Judah. And then you go into chapter 12, and you will see the rise of the northern kingdom. When you get to the end of chapter 12, you will see what happened with Dan and Ephraim. Okay, you will see what happened with Dan and Ephraim. What happened, I'm going to tell you now, but I'm giving you the scriptures for you to read it for yourself. That's 1 Kings chapter 11 and chapter 12. Now, you can also get it in the Chronicles as well. So I'm going to let you find that out. Go search that out for yourself. Now, what happened? Solomon started worshiping heathen gods at the end of his life. He started marrying foreign women, and those women were influencing him to worship their gods. He died. Now, as he was in his old age, one of the troubles started coming to him. Remember, Solomon, Shalomon, means man of peace. And Father Yah had blessed him with peace because of his father David. But at the end of his life, because he was going after these foreign gods, he started having adversaries. One of the adversaries that Solomon had, follow me now, was a man from the tribe of Ephraim. And I told you why there was beef between Judah and Ephraim over the Ark of the Covenant. So now this man from the tribe of Ephraim, name was Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. And he had such beef between him and Solomon that Solomon was trying to kill him. So he ran to where? Egypt. He ran to Egypt and he stayed there until Solomon died. And when Solomon died and Jeroboam heard that Solomon had died, Jeroboam came back to the land of his fathers. Now, Rehoboam, Solomon's son, was king. It was already determined that the kingdom would be split, though Rehoboam didn't believe it or know it. So Jeroboam led a group of men to Jerusalem. And they were asking Rehoboam, what are you going to do with this kingdom? Are you going to treat us better than Solomon treated us? Are we going to have a peace in this kingdom? And Rehoboam said, come back in 3 days and I'll tell you my answer. And the fool stood up in 3 days and said, I'm going to make your life hard. I'm going to whip you like scorpions. I'm going to destroy you. And that caused Jeroboam and the other tribes to leave and say, go to your house, David. We're leaving. And Jeroboam was ordained by the Father to set up his kingdom, the northern kingdom, in Ephraim. Now, Jeroboam was scared. And he thought in his heart, and the Bible will show this when you read 1 Kings chapter 11 and 12. Well, because they got to go back to Jerusalem for the feast. If they go to Jerusalem for the feast, I'm going to lose control over them. Never mind what the Father had already told him. That's what he said. Then what he did was he set up 2 golden calves in Shiloh, which is in Ephraim. And he created his own priesthood, not even Levite priests. Anybody could be a priest in Jeroboam's kingdom. And Dan followed suit. Dan also set up 2 golden calves in Dan. And all of the people of the northern kingdom refused to go to Jerusalem for the feasts. And they worshiped the golden calves in Dan and in Shiloh. Yes, it's Baal worship. It's part of Baal worship. Baal worship has many facets to it. That's one of them. Many facets. It's sun worship. It's worship of the animals and the golden calves from Egypt. It's many facets to it, but that's part of it. So you had Dan and Ephraim set up these golden calves. And over the next several centuries, they would separate farther and farther away from the truth. Till it got to the point that 3-4 centuries later, they were scattered. And the northern kingdom was scattered. And that's why the Bible tells us that the Most High held it against Dan and Ephraim forever. And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, no of his seed lived. They were all destroyed. Okay? So now you had these 2 tribes, which is why when you look at the 144,000, you will not see Dan and you will not see Ephraim. Notice when you go look at chapter 7 of Revelation, when you look at the 12 tribes being represented by the 144,000, you will not see Dan and you will not see Ephraim. Now, does that mean the whole tribe of Dan is lost? No, because their name is still on the gates and they still got an apostle representing them. Okay. Well, and Ephraim's name is going to be there too in the form of Joseph. See, Joseph had 2 parts, Ephraim and Manasseh, because he was the first, he got the blessing of the firstborn. But on the 12 gates, the original 12 gates, you'll find them in Ezekiel 48. And them are the original 12 brothers, including Levi. Them are the original 12 brothers. Okay. Y'all follow me? So then what happened to Dan after that? People say, well, they came and they went north and that's where you get Judaism from. That's irrelevant. What is relevant is that they've been cast out by the Most High for what they did with Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. Okay, that's what's relevant. And Ephraim too, and Shiloh. And that's why when in Jeremiah chapter 26, I want to show you something. In Jeremiah chapter 26, regarding this, see, that when you look at Jeremiah 26, Jeremiah was sent to Jerusalem with this message from the Father. Notice what he said. I'm going to begin at verse 1. Jeremiah chapter 26, verse 1. And I'm going to read from verse 1 down to verse 7. Jeremiah 26, 1 to 7. Watch the mention of Shiloh. In the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, came this word from Yahweh, saying, Thus saith Yahweh, stand in the court of Yahweh's house, and speak unto all the cities of Judah which come to worship in Yahweh's house. All the words that I command thee, speak to them. Diminish not a word. Verse 3, if so be they will hearken and turn every man from his evil way, that I may repent me of the evil which I purpose to do unto them because of the evil of their doings. And thou shalt say unto them, Thus saith Yahweh, if ye will not hearken to me, to walk in my law, which I have set before you, to hearken to the words of my servants the prophets, whom I sent unto you, both rising up early and sending them, but ye have not hearkened, then will I make this house like Shiloh. And I will make this city a curse to all the nations of the earth. So the priests and the prophets and all the people heard Jeremiah speak these words in the house of Yahweh. And they wanted to kill him after that, because he said, I'm going to make this house like Shiloh. Shiloh was where Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, set up the 2 golden calves. And he was, and Most High was saying, y'all like Shiloh. I'm going to make you look like Shiloh. I'm going to destroy you. It was in that place, Shiloh, that Joshua first set up the Ark of the Covenant. It was in that place, listen, Shiloh, when Messiah met the woman at the well, who was not a Hebrew, but she was a Samaritan, because that had what become of Shiloh. So that they were saying, I'm going to make this place with heathen taking over. Well, has he done? Heathen going to take over. See? So and that's why in Ezekiel 37, the father told Ezekiel, get a stick, break it in half, and then tie it together and say, I'm going to make Israel and Judah one nation again. That's why Isaiah say, there's going to be no more beef between Ephraim and Judah in the kingdom. See, so they're going to be brought back, praise the Most High. But that's why you do not see Ephraim or Dan represented in the 144,000. They're not there. You will see Levi and you will see Joseph in their place. Manasseh is there. All the other ones are there, but not Ephraim. Joseph is there, his father. And Levi is there, who really wasn't counted when they came into the land, because Levi was set apart, remember. So Levi is there and Joseph is there, but there's no Dan and there's no Ephraim. Okay. But they'll be in the kingdom, but they're not represented among 144,000. Okay. Again, what did we use for this? What did we use? What book did we read, brethren? See what I'm saying? Stay with this book. It will show you everything. Everything. And get you a concordance, because when you are reading for example, 1 Kings chapter 11 and 12, when you're reading them, you want to know more about Dan, look it up. Look up Dan in your concordance and then go read what happened to Dan. You'll see it. It's in there. Okay, look up. It's there. Everything that you need to know. Remember what we read in Deuteronomy earlier. It said the secret things belong unto Yahweh, but what's revealed, that belongs to us and our children forever. Well, he revealed to us in his word. Read your Bible. Start in Genesis. Go through. Come through. He's going to bless you. Okay, he'll bless your effort to read the word. He will bless it. Father will do that. And once you complete it, read it again. Okay, keep going through this word. Let the heathen make up books and make up doctrines with their man-made religions. We ain't got nothing to do with that. We ain't got nothing to do with that. Okay. Okay. All right. Did I answer your question, Imani Prakash, pretty much? Did I catch you? Did I get you? Colossians chapter 2. Back to Colossians chapter 2. Colossians chapter 2. So now, Colossians chapter 2. Let's go back there. Now, I'm going to go back and I read it down to verse I'm going to start at verse 3. Colossians chapter 2, beginning at verse 3. In whom are hid all the treasures of wisdom and knowledge. And this I say, lest any man should beguile you with enticing words. For though I be absent in the flesh, yet am I with you in the spirit, joying and beholding your order and steadfastness of your faith in Messiah. As ye have therefore received Messiah, Yahushua, the Master, so walk ye in him, rooted and built up in him, and established in the faith, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit. I'm going to read verse 8 twice. Okay, catch this now. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Messiah. So let's go back through this one more time now. What is he warning about? Philosophy, vain deceit, traditions of men, rudiments of the world. So Father Yah's truth is not philosophy. Father Yah's truth is not vain deceit. Father Yah's truth is not traditions of the men and is not rudiments of the world. So this is man-made stuff on religious themes. Y'all catching me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Let's read it again. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Messiah. What was going on? You had Sanhedrin people coming behind Paul and all of the work that he was doing, trying to get people to change to Judaism. Paul was teaching them about the perfect righteousness of the Father in Messiah. They were saying Judaism. And that's why he said philosophy and vain deceit. You will see this in all of his letters. He always had people, you see, especially in the book of Acts, always had these Judaizers coming behind him, trying to undo the work that he had done. And claiming the Judaism, claiming to represent the Father. Let me ask you, is that happening today? Is that happening now? Yep. That's why we know nothing's changed. It's only getting worse. Nothing's changed. People are at the point where they're listening to people so much they don't listen to the word. The word gets clouded because they're trying to hear men and they're trying to hear the word. Brethren, let me tell you, only need one book. Only need the word. Stay in the word, because that's the Father's word right there. What he doesn't reveal, don't worry about it. What he reveals, be obedient. Okay? And he reveals a whole lot. He reveals a whole lot. Everything I'm sharing with you, he reveals. Okay? I ain't good, you know what I'm saying? Now, there's sometimes when I look at history to show what already happened in the word. So when I talk about the Byzantine Empire, the Ottoman Empire, well, that's Revelation chapter 9. Okay? Or the rise of the Catholic Church, you know. So that history is basically confirming the prophecies that we already seen that have already taken place, right? And then the prophetic utterance we know is coming. Praise the Most High. But yeah, people don't change. Nothing changed. They're doing the same thing now. Okay, let's continue. Verse 9. Well, let me read verse 8 one more time. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Messiah. For in him, that is in Messiah, dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead bodily. You know, I once was in a Bible study with some Jehovah's Witnesses who don't believe in the Trinity. Jehovah's Witnesses don't believe in Trinity. You see, there's some things Jehovah's Witnesses believe that are true. But you know, every good lie has to have some truth in it. I mean, the tree of knowledge is called the tree of knowledge of good and evil, right? So this can't be just the tree of evil, even though it ends up bringing person to death, but it's tree of knowledge of good and evil. So some people will reject things because a denomination says it, like Jehovah's Witnesses, there's no Trinity. So people say it must be a Trinity because Jehovah's Witnesses are against Trinity. No, that doesn't mean anything. If Jehovah's Witnesses say Michael is Christ, people say, Jehovah's Witnesses say that. You're saying what Jehovah's Witnesses say. That's not the point. What does the word say? What does the word tell us? There's no Trinity in the word. There's no Trinity there. So what does Godhead mean? It means the Father and the Son. It means them. And in Messiah, he's representing who? His Father. So that's why it says in Messiah is the fullness of the Godhead bodily, because he's in a human being's body and he's representing our Father. Does that make sense, y'all? And then the Father has given him authority over the Spirit, so that he could give the Father's Spirit to whoever he wants. That's right. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. That's exactly right. That's a good point, Stephen Kelly. That's exactly right. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. So just because it's Jehovah's Witness and they say certain things don't mean that they're telling the truth about everything. They're not. There's a lying denomination that's going to be destroyed, just like all of them. They're man-made lying denominations. There is a seventh-day Sabbath. That's right. The Seventh-day Adventists are right. There's a seventh-day Sabbath, but it's going to be a destroyed denomination. It's by man. Okay? There's only one true people, Israel, and those grafted into Israel. That's it. That's all the Bible talks about. They can wave Bibles all they want. Yes, you're supposed to be baptized, but that means that everything the Baptist church says is true. See? See how they roll? Praise the Most High. Colossians chapter 2. Verse 10, and ye are complete in him, which is the head of all principality and power. Ye are complete in Messiah, because Father Yah is represented in his Son. And of course, if you are really in Messiah, what's he going to do? He's going to point you to your Father. That's what he's going to do. See, Messiah is just the first step, because that's how you overcome your sin, because Messiah was sent by the Father to be our representation of righteousness. And now he sends us to our Father. Praise the Most High. Okay. Verse 11. In whom also ye are circumcised with the circumcision made without hands, in the putting off of the body of the sins of the flesh by the circumcision of Messiah, and buried with him in baptism, wherein also ye are risen with him through the faith of the operation of Yah, who hath raised him from the dead. And you, being dead in your sins and the uncircumcision of your flesh, hath he quickened together with him, having forgiven you all trespasses, blotting out the handwriting of ordinances that was against us, which was contrary to us, and took it out of the way, nailing it to his cross. Blotting out the handwriting of what ordinances that was against us? The same ones from the Judaism that tried to say, you can't go in a Gentile's house, you can't eat with a Gentile, you can't speak with a Gentile. Don't have nothing to do with uncircumcised people. He blotted that out. He nailed all man-made rules and regulations to the cross, because he was sacrificed for sin. Man-made rules and regulations are part of sin. Man-made philosophy and vain deceit are part of sin. They cannot give you eternal existence. We are serving the Father who says, go tell the children of Israel, Ashar, Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya. Go tell the children of Israel, Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya. Go tell the children of Israel, Moses, I exist that I exist. We're talking about the only one that eternally exists, and that with him we can eternally exist. Man-made philosophy and vain deceit cannot do that. It will cause you to die. Satan's lies will cause us to die. Father's Spirit will give us eternal existence. And that's why Messiah said, I came, he was sent by the Father. He said, I came that they might have life, and that they might have life more abundantly. The abundant life is an eternal existence given from Father Yah through Messiah. Okay? So he nailed man-made stuff to his cross. That's what he nailed to the cross. Okay. Let's go now. Verse 15. And having spoiled principalities and powers, He made a show of them openly, triumphing over them in it. Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day or the new moon or of the Sabbath days, verse 17, which are a shadow of things to come. A shadow of things to come. In other words, they're a prelude of what's going to happen later. So that doesn't mean they don't exist. He's saying there's an earthly shadow of a heavenly events. You catching that? A shadow means, so if I have a shadow, it's a shadow on my shirt. It's shadowing what exists, my hand. It's a shadow, right? So the Sabbath, the meat and the drink offerings, the new moons, all of that are a shadow of what we're going to do eternally in the kingdom. Y'all catching that? See, people will tell you a shadow means, it's done away, it's nailed to his cross. That's not what it's saying. He started off telling you, beware of philosophy and vain deceit in the rudiments of men. That's what he started off telling you. The Sabbath is not no philosophy or vain deceit. The new moon ain't no philosophy or vain deceit. We're going to see the new moon next Thursday. So no, it ain't no philosophy or vain deceit, but it's a shadow, because in the kingdom, we're going to celebrate the new moon. Without having to ask Massa for a day off. You're going to celebrate the new moon and the Shabbat. That's what Isaiah said. From one new moon to another, and from one Shabbat to another, shall all flesh come to worship before me. So the new moon is a shadow of what we're going to do in the kingdom. Y'all following that? See, that's not philosophy and vain deceit. That's not the rudiments of men. But when man tries to tell you how to keep Shabbat, remember, people always ask me, well, what do I do on Shabbat? What you do on Shabbat is what it says to do. You rest. You rest. You cease your labor and you rest. And you set up for a time of peace and rest. Isn't that really, when you're talking about vacation, right? When you're talking about vacation, or in Europe, they call it what? Holiday. You're going on holiday. What does that mean? That means you're not working when you're on holiday, right? And you're doing stuff to rejuvenate your spirit. That's what you get away for. You get some time away. Even man does it. They call it vacation. You get some time away so you can rejuvenate. That's what Shabbat is. Every Shabbat, that's what it's about. It's a rejuvenation. It's a renewal of us, right? So just for you to know, what is it that renews you? What is it that gives you rest? What is it that causes you to glorify your Father? That's Shabbat. And it's every seventh day. And on the new moon, we have a new month. That's what new moon means, new month. And so every new month, we have a renewal, a celebration, a connection with our Father. That's going to happen in the kingdom. It's a shadow of what we're going to see in the kingdom. See? Okay. And just for emphasis, let's keep reading past verse 17. Let's read down to the end of the chapter from verse 18 to verse 23. Let no man beguile you of your reward and voluntary humility and worshiping of angels, intruding into those things which he hath not seen, vainly puffed up in his fleshly mind, and not holding the head, from which all the body by joints and bands, having nourishment ministered and knit together, increaseth with the increase of Yahweh. Wherefore, if ye be dead with Messiah from the rudiments of the world, why, as though living in the world, are ye subject to ordinances? Ordinances, man-made rules. Touch not, taste not, handle not, which are all to perish with the using. And notice what he says here, after the commandments and doctrines of men. Let me ask you a question. Eating pork, or should I say the command to not eat pork, did that come from men, or did that come from Father Yah? Did the command not to eat the swine come from man, or did it come from Father Yah? Where did it come from? Did we just make that up? Did we decide, we observe that the pig is an unclean animal, and we decide not to eat it? No, Yah told Moses, you are a holy people unto Yahweh your Most High. Therefore, you're not going to eat anything. So people use it and say, well, see, now all foods are clean. No. Eating of pork is not a man-made rule. That's from Yahweh. Don't eat pork. Don't eat no fish that doesn't have fins and scales. That means no shrimp, or crab or lobster, no catfish that doesn't have fins or scales. Don't eat no unclean birds. Don't eat the vulture. Don't eat the eagle. Don't eat the unclean birds. Why he tell you that? Because he's the Father. And he tell you this is not doctrines of men. See, that's what people, they just ignore these things just so they can go with their man-made religion of Christianity. And that's what it is, brethren. It's a man-made religion. Messiah didn't give us no new religion called Christianity. He said, I came not but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's what Messiah said. He said, I don't pray for the world, Father. I pray for those which you have given me out of the world, for they are thine. I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He came, Peter said, to give repentance to Israel. Peter said, hearken, Israel. This is for you and your children. I know. You know, Cherokee Indian brings up a good point. He says, it's hard for me to get off them shrimps. You know why? Isn't that what Ezekiel said in Ezekiel chapter 4? I'm going to send you among the heathen and you're going to eat your defiled bread among the heathen. See, we so used to eat the defiled bread. We enjoy it now. Isn't that true? Some say, well, man, that bacon tastes good, man. It's hard to give up that bacon. It tastes good because we've been brought up among the heathen. And whatever we feel like putting in our mouth, we put up because that's what they fed us as slaves. And we just follow the heathen and we just eat anything. But when you grow up and when you're a child, it's two different things. So when you grow up, you know, when you become a man and you're mature, it's right. It's what we've been taught. Blood sausage. Hey, all the Caribbean eats blood sausage. You understand? So the Spirit of the Father will teach us. So we are learning and we're unlearning, right? That's what we're doing. We're learning and we're unlearning. Learning and unlearning. Okay, learning and unlearning. All of us are doing it. All of us are in different stages of learning and unlearning. All of us are. See? So, but what we're doing is we're coming. What are we doing? We're going closer back to the Father and to his word. That's what we're doing. All of us are different stages of going close back to the Father and to his word. Learning and unlearning. Okay. So let's, let us continue in our individual paths. You understand? So somebody's path may not be my path. My path is different from your path. But all of us are being led to the Father, to obedience to the Father. Let's not judge each other on our individual paths. Y'all catching me? The world does that. All of us have to do this, or all of us have to do that. All of us have to do is obey our Father. That's what all of us have to do. Obey our Father. Okay. You understand? So let's not judge each other on how the Father is leading us, but all of us are seeking to glorify the Father in all things. This here is about man-made philosophy and things that man does. Okay. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 8. Hebrews chapter 8. Hebrews chapter 8. Talking about a shadow of things to come. Hebrews chapter 8, beginning at verse 1. Hebrews chapter 8, beginning at verse 1. I'm going to read from verse 1 down to verse 5. Hebrews chapter 8 from verse 1 to verse 5. Now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have such an high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the Majesty in the heavens, a minister of the sanctuary and of the true tabernacle, which the master pitched and not man. For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices. Wherefore it is of necessity that this man have somewhat also to offer. For if he were on the earth, he should not be a priest, seeing that there are priests that offer gifts according to the law, who serve, verse 5, who serve unto the example and shadow of heavenly things. as Moses was admonished of Yah when he was about to make the tabernacle. For see, saith he, that thou make all things according to the pattern shown to thee in the mount. So the sanctuary, the earthly sanctuary, the Ark of the Covenant, all of the altar of sacrifice, the altar of incense, all of that was shown to Moses in a pattern. He could see it in a pattern. And it was a pattern after the original, the heavenly one. Okay, so he was given these patterns because they were a shadow of the heavenly truth. So we have the Jerusalem on the earth today, but it's a shadow of the new Jerusalem, which it says here, which the Most High made and not man. Man built the Jerusalem that's out there now. The original Jerusalem that was out there when we took over the land, man built that. The people of Jebus built that. But the Father is going to have a new Jerusalem that's different from the Jerusalem that's there now. One that Father built himself. Okay, so that the Jerusalem on the earth today is a shadow of the truth. Okay, so we're going to meet at Jerusalem in the kingdom. We're going to see the new Jerusalem with the 12 tribes and the 12 gates and the 12 apostles. But that's the true one. The shadow one you can see right now. Okay, but that's just a shadow. It's going to be destroyed. All right. Now, why did I bring all that up? Well, Moses and the children of Israel, can we not say, are a shadow of us? Can we not say that them entering into the land was a shadow of the kingdom? You understand what I'm saying? So them entering into that land was not us entering into the kingdom, but it's a shadow of us entering into the kingdom. That's my point. Y'all catching that? So if that was the kingdom, well, we'd never left it, right? If that was the kingdom, we'd never left it. But we did leave it. We lost it because it was not the permanent kingdom. It was a shadow of the kingdom to come. And Moses was a shadow of Messiah. He wasn't Messiah. He was a shadow of Messiah. And Moses was shown to be a shadow because he couldn't get into the kingdom, because he didn't glorify the Father at the appropriate time at the waters of strife. He said, "What you rebels," he called his brethren. He said, "Must we fetch you water out of this rock?" And Father told him, "Speak to the rock and give Father the glory." But he struck the rock and he called the people rebels. And the water came out. He struck the rock twice. The Father said, "You did not sanctify me before the people. You can't go into the kingdom." Now, Moses was resurrected. And so obviously he's going to be in the kingdom. But it was a shadow to let all of us who want to be teachers, who the Father has set as teachers, including myself, to know, always glorify the Father. Never take unto yourself any glory, because you saw what happened to Moses. And Moses was way more holier than me or any teacher. So that all of us who are teaching the word, and many of you brothers are being trained to do that, make sure the number one, aside from obedience to the Father, is to always point all the people that you're talking to the Father, to his word. Never point them to you. Because that's what happened to Moses. He pointed the people to him and to Aaron. And the people would follow him, Aaron, just like today. Do not people worship and follow people today? Do they not look for autographs from men today? Do they not want to put tattoos all over their body like their favorite rapper today or their favorite ball player? Don't they? So it's very important, brethren, as we are close to the kingdom, we are, that as you are being taught by your Heavenly Father, as you are reading his word, as you are getting close to him, always remember it's all about him. It's not about you. Always remember, when the people are needing him, you point them to him. You point them to his word. You give him all the glory. Remember Moses. He's a shadow. He's a shadow. Okay. Yes, those mega churches, they're going to go the same way as the Philistines church. You remember what happened to the Philistines church? They gone. When Samson came up in there and he was blind, it was destroyed. All of these mega churches, all of these man-made religious systems are going the way of all the earth. They won't exist. That's the false prophet, brethren. Remember in Revelation 19, he said, I saw the beast and his armies fought against him that sat on the horse and against his armies, and the beast was taken. And with him, the false prophet that wrought miracles before him. And these both were cast alive into the lake that burned with fire and brimstone. They don't exist much longer. All of these religious systems have a limited shelf life of 10 years or less. All of these religious systems have a limited shelf life of 10 years or less. And praise the Most High Yah. There are people in these religious systems that are just ignorant and don't know any better, been born and raised maybe generations in these false systems. That's what the 1,000 years are going to be for the Israelite people to teach you the truth. Praise the Most High. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 31. Let's go from where we finished off last night. Deuteronomy chapter 31. In fact, I'm going to reread from verse 10. I'm going to go from verse 10, and let's go from verse 10 down to verse 16. Deuteronomy 31 from 10 to 16. And Moses commanded them, saying, at the end of every 7 years, in the solemnity of the year of release, in the Feast of Tabernacles, when all Israel is come to appear before Yahweh thy Most High, in the place which he shall choose, thou shalt read this law before all Israel in their hearing. Gather the people together, and men and women and children, and thy stranger that is within thy gates, that they may hear and that they may learn and fear Yahweh your Most High, and observe to do all the words of this law, and that their children, which have not known anything, may hear and learn to fear Yahweh your Most High, as long as ye live in the land whither ye go over Jordan to possess it. And Yahweh said unto Moses, behold, thy days approach that thou must die. Call Joshua and present yourselves in the tabernacle of the congregation, that I may give him a charge. And Moses and Joshua went and presented themselves in the tabernacle of the congregation. And Yahweh appeared in the tabernacle in a pillar of a cloud. And the pillar of the cloud stood over the door of the tabernacle. And Yahweh said unto Moses, behold, thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, and this people will rise up and go a-whoring after the gods of the strangers of the land, whither they go to be among them, and will forsake me and break my covenant, which I have made with them. So again, them entering into the land was a shadow of the kingdom, right? Because when we get to the kingdom, or when Father through Messiah sets up the kingdom on this planet, there'll be no going a whoring after other gods. There'll be no other gods to talk about. Everybody will serve Yah, okay? But then it was a shadow. So Moses and Joshua presented before the Father, and they were a shadow of Messiah and 144,000 that are going to be prepared to lead the people. But then Father was telling them they were going to go through the curse. And they actually, in chapter 32 of Deuteronomy, it's actually a song. Remember now, songs represent experiences and prophecies in the Bible. David wrote Psalms. Psalms are both his experiences and prophetic utterance. And if you recall, there's the song of Moses and the Lamb, Revelation chapter 15. Okay, so there's songs, and there's going to be songs. And now here, they write a song, because music is given to us as a gift. We have that. The Most High has put it in us, a gift of music and creativity in music, as you know. So here, Moses is going to write a song, and that song is being sung. That's chapter 32 of Deuteronomy. It's a song, okay? But before that, he's warning of the apostasy and of the curse that will come upon us, and that has, as we know right now, come upon us, okay? Deuteronomy chapter 31. Verse 17, Then my anger shall be kindled against them in that day, and I will forsake them, and I will hide my face from them, and they shall be devoured, and many evils and troubles shall befall them, so that they will say in that day, are not these evils come upon us because our Most High is not among us? Isn't that what we're saying right now? And I will surely hide my face in that day for all the evils which they have wrought. In that they are turned unto other gods. Now, therefore, write ye this song for you, and teach it to the children of Israel, and put it in their mouths, that this song may be a witness for me against the children of Israel. For when I shall have brought them into the land which I swear unto their fathers, that floweth with milk and honey, and they shall have eaten and filled themselves and waxen fat, then will they turn unto other gods and serve them, and provoke me and break my covenant. And it shall come to pass when the many evils and troubles are befallen them, as we know now, and that this song shall testify against them as a witness, for it shall not be forgotten out of the mouths of their seed. For I know their imagination, which they go about even now, before I have brought them into the land which I swear. Moses therefore wrote this song the same day and taught it to the children of Israel. And he gave Joshua the son of Nun a charge and said, be strong and of a good courage, for thou shalt bring the children of Israel into the land which I swear unto them, and I will be with thee. And it came to pass, when Moses had made an end of writing the words of this law in a book until they were finished, that Moses commanded the Levites, which bare the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, saying, take this book of the law and put it in the side of the ark of the covenant, and Yahweh your Most High, that it may be there for a witness against thee. For I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck. Behold, while I am yet alive with you, this day ye have been rebellious against Yahweh. And how much more after my death? Gather unto me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call heaven and earth to record against them. For I know that after my death ye will utterly corrupt yourselves and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you. And evil will befall you in the latter days, because ye will do evil in the sight of Yahweh, to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. And Moses spake in the ears of all the congregation of Israel the words of this song until they were ended. And that's the next time we're going to go through chapter 32, which is the song. And brethren, it is prophetic. And you're going to recognize it because it's talking about us. It's talking about us. Praise the Most High. Okay. So this 12:53 at 1 o'clock. I know a lot of my Knicks brethren will be watching the Knicks. I will not watch it today out of respect for my Heavenly Father, but I'm not judging you, but I will see the replay later. But for now, we're going to come back at 1:45, and we're going to continue our study in Deuteronomy chapter 32. May the Most High bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shalom, brethren.